Academy. In this tutorial, we'll be looking at how to plot multiple line graph using Microsoft Excel. So let's get started. So first of all, I'll be taking you through my data tables. Now, as you can see, my data tables, I have 3 different functions of x, starting from sin x in column B, then I have cos x in column C, then I have cos 2x in column D. So I'll be plotting 3 different functions against this value of x. So the first thing to do is actually to select all the table of data, including the first row of it, which contains the label. So after selecting the table of data, you come to insert. We click on insert, then we quickly now come to this scatter graph here. Then just like the previous videos, we have different kind of scatter graph, but I'm going to choose the smooth lines, the one with the smooth lines, which is going to show the different multiple line graphs that we hope to get. So this is actually how to plot a multiple line graph using Excel. So the next phase now is actually to modify, to add some chart elements to it to further improve the visibility. Now, what I'm trying to do now is actually to go through the chart area border lines. So you're going to see this little dot, circle dot here, where you can actually increase the size of the chart area, just like I'm doing now. I'm increasing the chart so I can increase both left, right, up, and down. So that is about it. Then you can see that I have 3 different curves, 3 different curves, line curves, smooth line curve, that are representing the 3 different functions. Now, the moment I click on any of these, you could see the data series. This is actually for sin x, then this is for cos x, then the last one selected is for cos 2x. So basically, when drawing this multiple line graph, I personally don't like all these grid lines. I want to remove all the grid lines. So what I would do now is actually to just over my mouse over this icon, this plus icon, you can see chart elements. So I'm going to be adding or removing some of the chart elements we have. So I'm going to click this plus sign. Then I don't want the grid lines, so this is the grid lines. I want to remove the grid lines. I just simply remove it. So I'm left with my vertical axis and also my horizontal axis. So the next thing I want to do is actually for now I don't want this chart title, so I'm going to remove the chart title. You can leave it. Chart title means if, for example, I might want to type something here. Probably a graph. I can say graph of sin x. I can put comma cos x, then I can put and cos 2x. I can just put it here. I can say for values of x, for values I said from 0 to 360. So I can have it like that. You could have a different name for that yourself too. So the next thing to do is actually to try to create my axis title. So I'm going to click on this. I have my axis title, so I'm going to add axis title. So the moment I check this box beside the axis title, the axis title appears here. So this is my x, so I just put x here, so, and also I can the hex I can attempt to just drag it over here. Then on this vertical axis, I could just put all the different sign there, which is sin x. I can put comma, then I can put cos x, then comma, then cos 2x, then I put in the bracket. So meaning that I plotted 3 of these functions against x. Then another thing of this chart element that we could do is we could also add data labels. If you are interested in data label, that means it's going to show some data, in order to show some data. That is the data in which you choose to plot the different functions, but it's going to make this actually looks a bit clumsy. So I'm going to remove it. I come to this plus sign again, then I remove the chapter label. Then of course, one thing we also like to show is our legend. The legend is by default, it appears by default, but we kind of need it to be in proper section of the graph. So I'm just going to come down to this plus sign again. I click on this plus sign again, then I come to the legend. The legend is checked already, but we just want to place it properly. So I'm going to click this little arrow here, then I want to position it to the right. The moment I click the right, you can see the legend comes to the right. Then I could as well bold it. I could select each of these and bold, add bold to it so that it comes up very well. So I can add that. The next thing I want to do, obviously, also is to work on these vertical axes. I want to format these vertical axes and this particular axis. So what I do also is to come to this plus sign, then I come to the axis, then I click on this little arrow, this forward arrow here. Then of course we have our primary horizontal and primary vertical options on. Yes, then I click on this more options, so it opens a pane, a formatting axis pane on my right. So what I want to do is to make these lines, these vertical lines tick, this horizontal line also tick. So what I would do is to come to this, I come to the line section, then I can select solid line, I can make it black, I usually like black colors, then I increase the width of the line, to make it more thick. You can see it's more thick now. Then I can select this vertical axis also, so automatically this setting changes to capture the vertical axis. So same way I can select solid line here at the line section, then I can just increase the width to maybe 1.75. okay, that is good. Then one thing I want to do is I want to actually format the axis, in terms of the numbering of the axis, properly. I can then come to this axis option. So I click on this axis option. Presently I'm actually selecting horizontal axis, so the maximum of horizontal axis is 400, then the minimum is 0. Actually I want it to be in space of 30 degrees. I want it to be in space of 30 degrees. So pretty much the minimum could still be 0. So my maximum I want it to be 390. So you could just watch out now, it changes automatically to 390. You can see 390 here. That's good. Then my major axis, I want my major axis to be, this I have to start from 0. Let me set this from 0 back. The minimum should be 0. Okay, good. Then it resets. Okay, good. Then I want my major to be 30 degrees interval. 30 degrees interval. So over 30 degrees interval, if I want 10 lines in between, I could say my minor should be 3. So my minor is 3. That's good. Then we have other settings that you could actually add to it. For example, I could want to add a tick mark. I want a tick mark to be there, at the major axis. So I can click on this arrow. Then I want a major tick line. I want it to select inside, but I want it outside. So just click on it outside, so you can see the major tick lines. So the minor tick lines, since we don't have a minor grid lines and we're not trying to show that, so I'm going to leave that for now. I'm going to leave that for now, so I can just exist. Now since my x-axis is not selected, I could just bolden it. I could go to home, and apply my bold. It makes it bold. And I could also come to this vertical axis, then I can still come to this chart element, the axis option. Then I can always click on this forward arrow, more options. Then I want to work on the vertical axis. So the vertical axis is pretty much the maximum value we have on the table is around 1. So I think it's good as 1.5, and the spaces are good, 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5. So I could still leave that alone. Then I could come to the tick. I want to add my tick, so I go to the tick marks section. Then I just simply add the tick marks to the major type. Then I had one for outside, so you can see it appears here. So I can close this. Then I can obviously select my vertical axis and bolding it. Good. So I'm bolding it. That's good. Then of course my legend is still there, so which is good. My legend is there. I can further increase if I want to, to make it more visible. I could go down to increase, make it more visible. Then finally also you could change, the lines, you could change the lines. The moment a chart is plotted, there is a chart toolbox that applies automatically at the top, which you can then format. So once I select my chart, I can select my chart, then I go to format. The moment I click on format, so I'm going to change this. I want to change this cos 2x. I want to change it to, let's say I'm going to change it to yellow color. So I'm going to come to shape outline, so I can make it yellow. I can make it yellow so it looks distinct. I can also thicken it out. I can add thickness to it by going to weight. I can choose this. It makes it more thick, you can see. Then also I think my sin x is good for this. The only thing I will need to add in my sin x is actually to add my thickness, to make it thick too. So you can see thicken out. Then I can go for the cos curve. Then I can also add thickness to that too. Weight, I choose the same. So you can see that they actually came up with weight. So when it comes to plotting multiple line graph, this is actually how to go about it. And mind you, you don't have to have only mathematical whatever. You could have different data. It doesn't have to be trigonometric functions. It doesn't have to be too complex. You could have other data too, which you could still use to to plot multiple line graph in Excel. Thank you. Bye for now.